Hi, my name is Dave Wetzel. I'm the CEO of MLS Listings, and it's that time of year for me to come and talk about a very exciting topic. I love talking about this. We're about halfway through the year, so it's time for me to take a look at what we've been doing and talk a little about some of the highlights there, and then also talk about some of the things that I see coming up for the rest of the year and into next year. So very exciting. Let's start with the value of the MLS subscription. So we've been adding new things to the subscriber benefits. We have not increased the subscription price at all. So these are things that are all adding to the value of your MLS. And so if I just kind of go back and look at some of the things that we've been doing recently, let's go back to like maybe towards the end of last year. We introduced Aculist disclosures. And so if you recall, we did a little acquisition and then we extended that. And now what you have is Aculist disclosures so that listing agents can have all the disclosures available. And we make those available through the data shares. So anybody from other MLSs can have access to those. So some really cool stuff that we did when we added Aculist disclosures. And then a little bit later last year, we added aligned showings. And so many of you are using this scheduling software. And so if you're a listing agent, you have the ability to go in and very easily do some quick setup for your listing. You know, which days is it available to be shown or not shown? What hours do you want it shown or not shown? And then when the buy side agent goes through and maybe they're in Matrix, for example, they can click on a link and go right in and see what's available. And then it will send, based on the instructions that the listing agent put in, maybe it gets approved automatically, maybe it goes to the listing agent so they can check with the seller and see if that time is okay. But essentially it's a way to schedule showings. One really cool thing I like to talk about on this is I was talking to one of our subscribers and they were pretty excited about aligned showings. And I asked them, what's the cool thing about it? What do you like most about it? And this agent told me that they're using it for vacant property. And I had to step back and kind of scratch my head and go, oh, maybe you have a gate on the property. No gate. You just drive up and get out of the car and walk all over the property. There's nothing on the property, no gate. And I said, well, why are you using aligned showings for that? And they said, oh, it's perfect because I can set it up so it automatically accepts the appointment that they pick, and then they can just go and show it. But now I know who has shown that vacant property. And so now I can reach back to those people, or I can tell the seller, hey, last week we had 2 people that went and looked at your property. Whereas before, using aligned showings, I had no way of knowing who went and looked at that property. So it's a great tool, even if you're not thinking about trying to schedule showings through your listing. Maybe it's a great tool for you to use to get more visibility to who's showing things. So love it. Love the different uses for that tool. And then the last thing that we added, actually very recently this year in May, we added a CRM, CRM from Prospect Software. So Prospect Software was a company that was bought by CoreLogic, and they took their CRM that they had and they tied it into Matrix and they tied it into MLS Touch. And so now if you use this CRM, which we are making available for free to all subscribers, there's no upsells in this. You get the full version of the CRM. So there are other MLSs out there who offer CRM, but then as soon as you actually want to start using it in any real way, then the CRM is going to say, hey, you need to pay more to use it. Maybe you have more than 10 clients that you want to put in it and you have to pay for that. We're not doing that. So this is a full version CRM, and it's the only one out there that's tied into Matrix and MLS Touch. So now if you have a listing, it's real easy for you to bring that information into the CRM and be able to send out flyers about your open house. Maybe you did a price change, maybe it's sold, and there's different people that you want to send that to. So you have that all very easy to do right from the CRM. Also, you probably already have a number of clients that you've worked with in the past where their client information, their contact information is in Matrix. Or Maybe it's in MLS Touch because maybe you shared that mobile app with your client back then. All of that information automatically populates into the CRM when you first start. So it's real easy to get started and start using that CRM. So if you haven't taken a look at that, you definitely want to do that. And lastly, one of the things that we did recently was we restructured our contracts that we had with a company called iHomeFinder. So you may have heard of iHomeFinder. They are an IDX website vendor. And what we had done a long time ago was we set them up so that they could offer IDX websites to our subscribers. There's a fee that you pay before, but it was complicated before. And they had lots of different options, and it really wasn't used as much. And so we tried to simplify all of that with iHomeFinder, and we have a much easier way to go about doing that. Billing is direct through iHomeFinder, and we negotiated a little bit cheaper price for you all who may want to use an IDX website from iHomeFinder. So take a look at that. It might be something that you find useful. So that was exciting, all those things that we added, but it doesn't stop there. So there's a number of other things that we've added recently. So that these are all things, again, that come free with your subscription with the MLS. So let me just kind of run through a few of these. So there's a lot of communications that you get from MLS Listings that tell you about lots of cool things. We added 2 new things this year, 2 new types of these communications. So the first one was podcasts. So what's a podcast? Well, a podcast is simply an audio version. So right now you see me on the video, but we do podcasts where it's just all audio. And the purpose for these is you've got a lot of time where you're spending some time in the car. Maybe you're driving out on broker tours, going around to different places, and you've got time in the car. Why not create some content that's useful for you that's audio only? So those are our podcasts. So take a look at those. And try to utilize that time where you can use those and listen to those. They're really good. And then this year we added a whole new series called Did You Know? And you've probably seen some of these. That's from Jesse. Jesse is our chair of the board of MLS Listings. And these, what we did was we took a number of topics where we think that there could be some education around the topic, and it's basically a topic that people might not have known about. And the video is not intended to be a long video. It's like a really short, maybe it's a minute or 2 video or less. And Jesse just says, did you know? Blah, 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 and tells you all about that one topic for the day. So cool set of videos there. So a lot of people are watching those. We also have been doing a number of things around our AccuList, what we call our AccuList Market Performance Toolkit. And so many of you know about the AccuList market trend reports that we have. So we've continued to enhance the market trend reports. There are a few new ones that we've added in the last year. You want to take a look at some of those. They're pretty cool. Some of them are quarterly based. Some of them are monthly. So take a look at the market trend reports if you haven't looked at them in a while, or maybe you grab them every month, but you've already favorited them, so you're not looking to see what the new ones are. So you want to take a look at those. There's some cool ones there. And then what we do is we also do a video like this with Mark and Michelle, and they do a monthly update video about the market. And they also include some slide decks, so you want to take a look at those. And sometimes it's something that you just want to look at and do a quick education because you're going to be talking to someone next week and you want to just, they're going to ask about it. So you just want to be prepared. But then the other thing that we do that I don't think is as widely known is weekly reports. And so if you go to the Pro dashboard, up at the top, there's a link there for AccuList, and it'll take you to weekly reports. So why do you want to know the weekly reports? Well, here's what I look at for the weekly reports, and I think it might be helpful for you too. And that is, we're in a time of tight inventory, right? And it seems like this is going to last for a little while. And so I look at that on a regular basis because it helps me understand where the inventory, all the new listings, what numbers of new listings are we seeing on a weekly basis? Or maybe just the velocity of those as they go from new listings to sold. So you see those on a weekly basis. The weekly numbers just kind of help you understand where the market's going, what has it done in the last week or the last few weeks, and what that trend is. You'll still want to look at the monthly reports for all the detailed numbers, but the weekly reports are just a few snippets of information that are really helpful to really kind of understand the direction that the market's going that week. Interactive tools. And so there's a number of tools that we have. We call them web widgets. And so these are things that can go onto different websites. We have a number of people out there that do their own websites. And so if you do your own websites, you want to take a look at these web widgets. If you use a vendor to help you with those, they may or may not know that we have those available. So talk to your vendors about utilizing the web widgets because those are all there. And they give you all the market trend information that you can just easily put onto a website. And then anytime someone is there on the website is grabbing the latest information. So that's really cool on that front. And then the really exciting thing that I enjoy is we do videos on a quarterly basis with a person by the name of Dr. Eisenberg. Now, Dr. Eisenberg is the bow tie economist, and we have him on our show on a quarterly basis so he can kind of drill down into what's happening at our level. So a lot of economists, if you read what they're writing or listen to them, they're talking about national level things or they're talking about state level things. And so what we do with Dr. Eisenberg is we do that, but then we drill down what's happening here in our areas. And so it's really exciting. A lot of stuff that you can glean from those. And again, you become the area expert with the more knowledge you have around these things. And so the conversation you're going to have next week or the week after, someone's going to ask you about that. And looking at these and watching these Dr. Eisenberg videos is awesome. Then, remember that podcast I mentioned before? We take that and we take some of that knowledge from those and do a condensed version and put it in a podcast. So maybe you didn't have time to watch the video, but you're driving out to do a listing presentation and you're in a car, take a listen to that, see what it says. Might be really helpful. So this is pretty exciting. So we've talked about some of the things that we did in the last 3 quarters. We talked about some of the studio production things. We talked about Aculus things that we've added. But this is the most exciting part, what's coming. And this is the part where I get the most questions. What's going on? What's going to come out next? So this is, you can kind of see I'm excited about this part. So I don't have actual dates for these because we don't have all the dates yet, but these are in the plans and things that we're working on. So I'm just between you and me, this is what we're sharing here. Aculus disclosures. So, I talked about Aculus disclosures. We released that last year. We've got some plans on things that we can improve on Aculus disclosures. We've gotten a lot of feedback. So we've gotten feedback that people like it, and they like it so much they're telling us, oh, but if you did this a little bit differently here, if you made this a little bit, displayed differently there would be. So we've got a lot of improvements that are coming, and so those are on the roadmap. We've also got some new cards coming in the new Pro dashboard. But let me back up a step. Are you using the new Pro dashboard? I bet you're not. We've got hundreds of people that are using it, but we have thousands of people that are subscribers. And so you want to take a look at this new dashboard. And so there's some links from the regular dashboard that'll take you to the new dashboard. And it was created in a very mobile-first environment, but you can use it from your PC or your Mac as well. You don't have to be on a mobile device to use it, and it's pretty cool. And so it's not just a bunch of static buttons. If you haven't seen it, it's got information that we put on what I'll call cards instead of buttons. And so take a look at it. It's pretty cool. Let me tell you about some of the new cards. But before I go into these new cards, just know that the old dashboard is old. And unfortunately, its technology is old. I can't put these new features on the old dashboard. So as we come up with these cool ideas, they're going on the new dashboard, not the old dashboard, the one that you're mostly people watching now are using. So you do want to take a look at the new dashboard, get on it. We love getting feedback, and a lot of these things that I'm going to tell you about came from feedback. So as you look at it, tell me what you like about it. Tell me what could be better. But here's some of the things that we've got queued up for the new dashboard. We're looking at a card that is going to do a property tax search. So what's the idea here? You just got a call from the person who owns 123 Main Street. You're going to go out and talk to them tomorrow. And there's a whole bunch of stuff that you're going to start collecting and build your presentation, but you want to know right away just a few key things. And so this card, you put in 123 Main Street, and it's going to give you a few things right from tax data that you need at your fingertips quickly. But you know, it's not just for that listing agent presentation. You could be representing a buyer, and you could be searching, and it could have been something that came up in the saved search that went to your client, and you've been talking about it, but now you're going to show it to them on Saturday, and you just want to go back. You know, I just want to remember a few things about this 123 Main Street, because I'm going to take my person there on Saturday. And so it's just a few things. This card is just meant to have a handful of things. It's not going to be a big report. And so we've been talking to people about what are those few things that you need out of tax that we can just do real quick and easy on a card. Another thing that we're looking at is for office managers or brokers and taking a look at what their production is from the office. And so why is this interesting? Is because we can tell that office manager or that broker a lot about what is in their production and where it is, what stage it's in. Is it active? Is it pending? Is it contingent? Is it sold? How much does it have sold over a period of time? But what's really interesting is to know, you know the general days on market, but do you know the general days on market past active? Probably not. What about how many days on market does it stay not on market, but days in pending or days in contingent? How do you know that it's been sitting there longer than average? How do you know when you should have that conversation with a listing agent to say, you know, this one's not moving as fast as all the rest? So the whole idea there is as a broker office production dashboard in the new dashboard that kind of helps them understand what they have in their inventory, if you will. Next is a property history search card. So again, you're working with either a potential seller or a potential buyer, and you want to know about history on this. You don't want to have to go in and look it up in Matrix or go over to Realist and look it up, because you can get the full detail there, of course, but sometimes there's just a few things you want to know. And so the idea here is quick and easy, dashboard card, 123 Main Street, give me the few things I need from a property history perspective. And so the whole idea behind some of these cards that I'm talking about is really kind of like, remember the big red easy button? Well, let's do an easy button for the things that you need quick. That's what the idea for these are. Lastly, if you've seen the new dashboard, you see that there's the ability to do some of the Aculus market trends right there in the dashboard. So what I do is obviously I'm not selling like you all are, but I'm still interested to know what's happening in particular neighborhoods. And so I have it set up for particular zip codes, for example, and then every time I bring up the dashboard, it's showing me, hey, what are the members only listings that came up in here? What's the market trends for this area? And so it kind of gives me a lot of the information that you can get from Matrix, but easy button, just quick and easy, find out what's happening in there. So that's kind of the idea for that, but we're going to take that one step further. So you have a card and it shows you what the average days on market, what's happening with the median pricing, what's happening with sales price over list price ratios, things like that. There's all these key performance indicators that are on those cards. Somehow, at the end of the day, you look at those and then you talk to your clients about what's happening in the market. And so another idea that we have from being able to help you with that is to be able to add a new button on those cards that you click on, and instead of a bunch of numbers on that card, it can give you 2 paragraphs that tell you in just regular words what's happening. That could be a dialogue that you have with your clients, or you can cut and paste that and, oh, I think we have a new CRM that could help you. Plop that into a CRM and send that out to a bunch of prospective clients and just describe what happened in the market. But now we're doing that for you to help you understand that and make it real easy to do. So that's some of the cool things. That's a bit of AI too to do that. Another cool thing that we have coming up, watch for a project that's coming out later this year, and I believe we're going to call it Listing Management Smart Draft. And so the idea there is, how do I make the edit of your new listings faster? So there's a lot of information that we know about 123 Main Street. There's a lot of information that we can glean through AI and other sources, and information from the photos eventually. There's a lot of information, and then we could present that. So today, when you enter in 123 Main Street and you start your listing, we do what we call auto pop. And auto pop goes off to tax records, and it puts in, I forget the number, 20 some fields, basically square foot, beds, baths, those basic things. And then you look at those and you go, yeah, that looks right. And you click and it goes into the listing automatically. So that you've been living with that for a long time. Why don't we take that concept and extend it to a lot of other fields so that we can go collect all that information on the fly as soon as you give us 123 Main Street. And then you can look at it and go, yeah, that looks good. Boom, put it in. Oh, here's one that's changed. Maybe they did some unpermitted work or something there and I need to make a change there. But make it so that the listing edit, the listing entry is faster and easier for you. So that's coming. So watch for Listing Management Smart Draft. And finally, one of the things that we're looking at later this year is something that I'll refer to it here as the professional content page, but I'm not sure the exact wording that we're going to call it when it releases, but let me tell you about it. Today, if you have a question and you want to do some self-help, you go to our pro support page, right? And we're a little bit limited to what we can put on the pro support page to help support you because it's not behind the login, meaning anybody in the world can get to that page. So I kind of have to be careful about what we put there. So we're gonna leave that stuff there, and we still be able to access it the way you access it today. And then we're gonna add some additional content that you have to be a subscriber to get access to. And so this new content, the professional content there, meaning that you've logged in, you've authenticated, we know you're a subscriber, and then there'll be additional things on the support page that you have access to. So watch for that coming out. I think that'll be pretty cool if there could be more help, more deeper, richer set of things that we can provide to you because we know you're a subscriber. Lastly, AI. So I get asked all the time, Dave, MLS Listings is in Silicon Valley. You guys got to really be on top of this AI stuff. What's coming out next for AI? Well, there is some things that we're working on. Yeah, we are in the midst of all of that because you all know we've got software developers, and our software developers I send to different conferences to learn about what's going on, what's happening, but it's not all about what the software developers can put in. It's also about things that you use on a regular basis or could use on a regular basis. It may not even be part of the MLS subscription. And these are things that the training team is looking at, and they're saying, let's pick one. Writing a blog may not be something that is part of the MLS subscription, but that's something that many of you do. But there's a lot of AI tools out there that can help you. Although there's a lot of things you need to know about AI tools in terms of the terms of service that different terms of service different ones have. And so we're creating some training classes to help you understand just AI in general. What are the terms of service kind of things that you need to look for and say, oh, this one looks safe. Ooh, this one I better understand the terms of service on. Because those terms of service, who reads those? Now you need to, and we can help you understand what to look for on those. And then once we know that, we can say, here's some of the things that you do day in and day out that aren't even part of the MLS. But if you look at this, here's a way that you can help write a blog. If you look at that, here's a way you can generate some artwork that you might be able to add to your blog. So there's different things that are out there that are not traditional MLS services, but we want to help you understand those. And so we're putting together some classes on that. And then lastly, of course, we're putting together some things on how we can utilize AI and enhance our products and services. I talked before about the Aculus disclosures, how we rolled it out last year. And then this year, we're making some improvements to it on the usability front. And then after that, maybe later in the year, we've got some ideas on things that we can do to make it even better using AI. So taking a look at, typically you look at a listing that has disclosures and Aculus disclosures, not uncommon. They have, 40 or 50 documents in there. Sometimes they're described so you know which one is the roof report. Maybe someone changed the name that came from the scanner so you know it's the roof report. Maybe the name of the file is scanner-01 and the date. So how do we take a look at that using our AI and say, oh, this is the roof report. So now I'm going to make it faster for the listing agent to set that up in Aculus disclosures because we can say, this looks like a roof report. Let's do this with the description. And so make it easier for the listing agent to put those things in. And then if those are all in there, the buy side who's looking at these things can look at it and go, oh, 40 or 50 reports. I'm just looking for the pest inspection. I'm looking for the roof inspection. I'm looking for HOA documents. Okay, here it is. I see it and get to it quickly. So there's things we're doing around AI that are pretty exciting. And the AI things that we're doing are not going to stop. That world is moving so fast. So now it's just a matter of us trying to keep up with it and see what we can do from a product and service perspective and make those better for you, but then also look beyond the boundaries of the MLS and say, I know you do this on a regular basis. It's not something that we provide, but maybe we can help the agents in understanding what to go look for because, we've got a bunch of engineers who find these tools on a regular basis. You may not be out there looking to know, here's 12 different AI tools. This one does this and that one does that. Let us help you with that. And that's the training that we're putting in place that kind of go beyond the boundaries of the usual MLS. So you can see I'm a little bit passionate about increasing the value of the subscription of the MLS. So we talked about some of the things that were really cool that we've done. We've talked about some of the things that are really cool that we have coming up in the future. Those are all things that we've got somebody taking a look at, figuring out how do we do this, here's an idea. And so what's next on those is just putting them onto the roadmap, figuring out how long they take, and just churning them through. So a lot of cool stuff there. And again, I'm happy to and excited to share where we've been halfway through the year and what we're looking at for the next part of this year. So thanks for watching.
Make sure to check out our Pro Support page for additional videos on a full range of topics. And don't forget to click that subscribe button on our MLS Listings YouTube page.